This is one of the first stocks I've made after making a pretty significant change in my process, and it went pretty well. A little bit later on in its manufacture, I made a mess of things in my impatience, and so it's a good chance to test a stock and see how strong it is to break it. And the first critical location I want to look at is the swivel stud area, the fore end. I think you hear about a lot of stocks, guys running through the scrub, bipod leg flicks down, catches in the scrub, tears the swivel stud out of the stock. That's just not going to happen with the way this is manufactured. So we're looking at what damage you'll do to the stock. Can you break the stock? And if you can break the stock, can you carry on hunting? You know, I mean, you can hunt without a bipod, you can hunt without a swivel stud, but if we snap the fore end clean off, you can't hunt. So that's a real problem. So I think the other thing to understand is that with any carbon product, whether it's your bike frame, your car, you know, if you hit carbon sideways forces, enough sideways force, it's going to break. So, you know, I'm really interested in, if we do break it, how it breaks, can you carry on hunting? The other interesting area, the classic breakage is through here, through the pistol grip, very narrow area. And that's a classic breakage point with wooden stocks, plastic stocks, particularly a carbon stock. Carbon's just not flexible. Again, sideways forces, a lot of leverage. There's a lot of carbon in there. And my hope is that you can't break that. If you apply enough force, my hope is that the stock will break down here. It'll remain intact and you can complete your hunt. So that's what I'm designing for. That's what we'll test. I think the other thing worth noting and warning people about with carbon stocks is that this area here is such low strength through the action area, just two strips of carbon side by side. And the stock relies on the action to give it strength through there. If you put the stock in a vise and give it a good slap through the butt sideways, chances are you're going to break it. But with the action in there, you're not going to break it. It's not going to be a problem to your hunting. Like, to some extent, I could engineer that out with lots and lots of carbon, but then we'd be getting away from the concept of a lightweight hunting stock. The thing is not to fall on the stock while it's in the vise. You should never break that. Not a concern to me. I'm going to do it with one arm, that's for sure. Oof. I'm not going to break it that way, which is good. That's pretty interesting. All that impacting from the hammer has fractured the stock through there, and it's full of a pretty dense two-part foam. All things combined, it's just flexing on that crack point at the back of the bipod and not letting go. So the stock's buggered, and I'm going to have to replace it for you. But you certainly going to carry on hunting. I just don't think you can rip that fore end off at the swivel stud point, and I don't think you can break it off back here. So, you know, I don't see you having an input pack that's going to stop you from hunting. So that's really the goal. Alright, let's have a go at seeing how the stock pistol grip stands up to my weight, to see where it breaks if I apply enough force. Well, that wasn't what I expected. It's what we haven't had in the past, and I guess that's not only changed the process, I've put a little bit more carbon in the rear of the stock, and it's moved the point to failure. Snapped catastrophically through here, and part way up the side of the side, not completely. It's just, again, flexing. That two-part foam in there is actually incredibly strong, and you know, again, I'm happy with that. I'll think about moving it further backwards, that's for sure. But the point is, you know, like, it took a lot of force to break it. Like, I mean, it's going to take a good old fall for you to do that. And again, if you're flown into Fiordland, you're still hunting. I mean, that foam is just not going to let go. Can't imagine you being in the situation where you can't hunt, wrap a bit of insulation tape around your bandages, and off you go. So I'll have a think about that, but I'm still pretty happy. Just to say that, like, the stock as it is with the Tika recoil pad on, it's 550 grams with this Cervaletti pad, same length, better pad, going at about 530 grams. So that's kind of my target weight. Easy, the surplus carbon in here, no doubt, and I'll explore that, but easy to build a much lighter stock for someone to order. Like for someone who, you know, I know I personally sling off the barrel. I never use the sling off the swivel stud. And if you don't hunt with a bipod and you want the lightest possible kind of mountain stock that you can get, like, who knows what we can get down to, I would say 480 grams, something in the area, something could be made to order, when still I'm happy to, you know, kind of warrant that work. Because if you haven't got a swivel stud, you can't break it at the fore end, you just can't break it. So I can take a whole lot of carbon out of there, and it's trust it to do its job. Cheers, guys.